Hello, I'm Beth Brinkley, and today I'd like to share with you my AI-assisted policy analysis of the HITECH Act and the 21st Century Cures Act. In this presentation, I will first provide my reflection on how AI was used in the research and analysis. Then I'll introduce both policies, discuss a thematic analysis, and then I will evaluate the AI-identified similarities and differences between the acts. I will then close the presentation with any identified gaps and inconsistencies. Before beginning this presentation, I'd like to disclose the use of AI in the presentation and share with you my personal reflection on using AI in this topic. During the preparation for this presentation, artificial intelligence was utilized for idea generation, analysis, and synthesis. The tools used were Scholar by Oracle, which provides scholarly results, Perplexity, which also provides information from reputable sources, and ChatGPT, which was primarily used for brainstorming. The AI engines were prompted using specific policy names and initiatives. Keywords like analysis, scholarly, and reputable were included when needed to reinforce the results. While the results yielded were seemingly legitimate, I also read many of the articles and archived legislation for the acts to verify the information. Many of the results were also cross-referenced across the three AI tools. Scholar and Perplexity were prompted to provide themes of the acts and synthesize comparison tables. In some of the thematic and comparison questions, the tools were asked to analyze the information using scholarly and reputable sources. However, I also analyzed these elements and combined related components or omitted extraneous information. In general, the usability of these AI engines is fair and provides a wonderful source for brainstorming. The tools provided comprehensive results, and the results could be customized to meet personal preferences in years, topics, and sources. The HITECH Act of 2009 was a significant milestone in healthcare policy. This act is a part of the larger American Recovery and Reinvestment Act, designed to stimulate the economy and expand HIPAA's reach. According to the Department of Health and Human Services, HITECH extended HIPAA's privacy and security rules to include business associates who became directly liable for breaches of Electronic Protected Health Information, or PHI, and created a notification rule for any breaches of HIPAA, and instituted a tiered penalty structure for HIPAA violations. The core of the HITECH Act is about the Electronic Health Record, or EHR, adoption. It introduced meaningful use, which aimed to ensure that EHRs are used effectively to improve patient care. To encourage this, the Act provided over $30 billion in incentives. Providers who failed to meet the standards for the Meaningful Use program began to face reimbursement penalties through the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, or CMS. The 21st Century Cures Act of 2016 was a standalone bill, distinct in its primary focus on fostering interoperability among providers, preventing information blocking, and advancing medical innovation. One of its major mandates is EHR interoperability, which is crucial for seamless data exchange across different healthcare systems. Additionally, the Act significantly boosts research funding, which fosters innovation and paves the way for groundbreaking medical advancements. For example, the National Institutes of Health, or NIH, received a multi-year funding package of $4.8 billion for behavioral and social research along with cancer and other conditions over a 10-year term. So let's delve into the AI-identified key themes of the HITECH Act. The first theme is EHR adoption. Over 90% of hospitals and clinics are now using EHRs, which is up from 10% in 2008. This improves communication and collaboration among providers. The next theme is interoperability. Currently, 67% of organizations participate in health information exchanges, or HIEs. The HITECH Act allocated $2 billion to develop HIEs, enabling secure data sharing across providers. It prioritized standards for data sharing like the FAST Healthcare Interoperability Resources, or FHIR, to ensure seamless interoperability. As mentioned, HITECH enhanced HIPAA privacy and security measures, but it also enforced technical safeguards like encryption and risk assessments to protect electronic PHI. Lastly, equitable access is an AI-identified theme of the HITECH Act. HITECH gave priority incentive programs for EHR adoption to critical access hospitals and supported nationwide basic EHR adoption. These themes reflect the ongoing impact of the HITECH Act in revolutionizing healthcare through technology. However, many areas left unaddressed or vulnerable in the HITECH Act led to the eventual creation of the 21st Century Cures Act. The AI identified themes of the 21st Century Cures Act are firstly research and workforce. A major component of the Act is its focus on research initiatives through funding and the high-risk, high-reward approach to push for innovation in medicine. Another part of the research is the workforce, which focuses on the Next Generation Research Initiative, which aim at fostering groundbreaking discoveries by up-and-coming researchers. Next, the theme of real-world evidence has revolutionized clinical trials and utilizes adaptive designs that harmonize FDA regulations and the common rule to relieve administrative burden to enable faster trial initiation in pursuit of customized and patient-centered outcomes. Another theme is HIT and interoperability, in which the Act mandated FHIR-based application programming interfaces, or APIs, and prohibited information blocking. Additionally, within this theme, patients also gain direct access to their health data via third-party apps, ensuring that patient data is available at no cost. This is an essential step toward empowering patients and promoting transparency. Lastly, precision medicine plays an important role, especially in addressing mental health and substance abuse issues, emphasizing the need for interdisciplinary cooperation. The Act prioritized patient input in drug development and funded the All of Us research program to collect genomic, environmental, and lifestyle data from 1 million Americans to support tailored therapies. Collectively, these themes illustrate the ongoing transformation in healthcare, fueled by a dedication to innovation and patient-centered care, all while promoting not only provider exchange, but open access to health information by the patient. Scholar identified some key similarities between the HITECH Act and the 21st Century Cures Act. First, interoperability. HITECH incentivized EHR adoption via meaningful use, financial rewards, and addressed barriers to EHR adoption in critical access areas. And the Cures Act reinforced EHR adoption through interoperability mandates and anti-information blocking rules. Both had an element of EHR inclusion with a focus on provider collaboration. Next, certification requirements. HITECH established EHR certification criteria for data exchange standards, and the Cures Act mandated FHIR-based APIs. Both of the acts had standards and certification that providers had to meet to fully engage in health information exchange. Both acts focused on opening up patient access to information. HITECH required providers to offer patients electronic access to health records, while the Cures Act strengthened patients' rights to information and expanded patient access via third-party apps. Both acts also serve to promote federal health goals through health information technology infrastructure. HITECH funded HIEs and aimed to improve care quality, safety, and efficiency, and reduce costs through digitization. The Cures Act sought to enhance care delivery and innovation via interoperable systems and research. As mentioned before, HITECH laid the groundwork for the 21st Century Cures Act, which reinforced HITECH key data and EHR components. There were some significant differences identified by Scholar as well. First, HITECH focused on EHR adoption incentives through CMS Meaningful Use Program, which staged requirements for EHR adoption and data exchange, while the Cures Act focused on EHR optimization and required compliance with the Office of the National Coordinator for Health Information Technology, or ONC. Next, while both acts had a focus on patient access, HITECH left room for providers to release patient information through provider-controlled portals, while the Cures Act mandates unfettered access to health information by patients through third-party portable apps. Next, both acts have penalties for noncompliance, but HITECH has penalties related to Medicare and Medicaid reimbursement to providers, while the Cures Act imposes civil monetary penalties up to $1 million per violation. Next, HITECH Act has a limited focus on research. Rather, it focuses primarily on clinical care improvement and operational efficiency. The Cures Act had an intense focus on research, facilitating data, sharing for research, and addressing FDA approval, mental health, and the opioid crisis response. For technical requirements, HITECH had minimal requirements for certified EHRs, while the Cures Act mandates standard interfaces to enable seamless data exchange and third-party app integration. Scholar and Perplexity identified a few key gaps in the HITECH Act. Firstly, delayed implementation. Staggered compliance dates led to confusion for EHR adoption, and variable timelines for organizations led to inequality in adoption. And the Act mandated regular HIPAA audits, but inconsistent and narrow focus audits continue to cause concern. Secondly, despite HITECH's focus on security, ransomware vulnerabilities exist, and high cost causes a lack of comprehensive security implementation for smaller entities. Additionally, these security measures were only identified as addressable, not required in the HITECH Act. Another gap is the technology infrastructure divide. Rural providers lag behind in health information technology due to complexities and costs related to EHR systems and security. This further increases disparities in rural populations as compared to urban areas. These AI-identified gaps in the 21st Century Cures Act undermine the Act's intent. EHR vendors and healthcare organizations can still limit interoperability and patient data access through limiting app functionality and creating a proprietary system to gain access. These counteract the Act's intention of seamless interoperability. Next, funding uncertainty. The Cures Act was funded in part by mandated oil sales and revenue. However, this provision was stopped in 2019, so a major portion of the funding was halted. Open PHI access by researchers and some lowered evidentiary requirements through the Act's modernized clinical trials and real-world evidence have raised ethical concerns for research and patient privacy. Lastly, patient burden. The inclusive release of patient information right into the hands of the patients can be beneficial for transparency, but patient confusion and anxiety can occur when information is released and read without a provider's explanation of the results. This can create a burden for patients, especially in some vulnerable populations. In conclusion, through AI assistance, we explored the intricacies of the HITECH and 21st Century Cures Acts and their measured impact on health information technology and the healthcare landscape. Through this exploration, we've identified important gaps in both acts. These gaps point to areas where further improvement and innovation are needed. I thank you for your attention, and I appreciate any follow-up or feedback you might have for me.